let's have a quick look at in-class practice 3 about lists. And so there's two kinds of lists that we come across here, and these are the notes, by the way, what I'm looking at here. You could find this on D2L. And so if you look on D2L, you'll find this, this document which you can download and look at just the same as I'm looking at here. And what you're meant to do is you're meant to make a web page, and the web page is supposed to have this heading here, and then these two items which are in a list, and we see that they're in a list because we have this dot beside them. It's a little bit different than in Word, because in Word you would just well, I'm using Word at the moment, right? And up the top here you can see I would just put some bullets there, right? And that would be what we would see. So in HTML we have to specifically state that this is a list. We have to say where the list starts, where it ends, and what kind of list it's going to be. And so that's the one thing you have to do. Then you have to make, well, actually this shows us the code. So right here we have the code to make that list above there. So there's no sort of secrets in this. Now I have done this for you, but when I did it, I changed this because this href is to a file which would be in the same directory as the file that we're editing, and I don't have anything on Sarayon, so I just put something to a URL to the internet. Okay, so here we have the list, and we see there's only 2 items in the list, and each of those has, well, one of them's got 2 paragraphs to it, so this 2 paragraphs in the same item in the list. And so this is what I mean. See, there's a paragraph tag there, a paragraph tag there. And so this item here in the list has got 2 paragraphs, whereas the one above has only got 1 paragraph. But the one above has a href, a hyperlink. All right, in part B, we're going to look at ordered lists as opposed to this is an unordered list. Unordered list just has these little bullets, and the ordered list is going to use numbers. And so it's kind of the same thing, but we get this type of thing going. Now what's kind of cool about this ordered list is that we break the list up and then we start again where we pick up where we start off, pick up where we left off. And so we see that happening here where we have one ordered list and it starts there and ends there. It's got these 3 list items, and then it's broken up by something else, and then a new ordered list starts, but inside the tag of the second ordered list, we put a comment. Put a command that we're going to start from a particular number, and so this is another ordered list, but it's starting from where the other one took off. Now, the idea of a nested list is we got a list inside a list. So what we have happening here is here is an unordered list before and how to create. Those are 2 items in the same unordered list, and within them is another list which is ordered. And so what's happening there is, so here's our unordered list starts here. So all the code is there. All the code is there. So he's basically just put this code into HTML, and there's your 2 lists. So here's our unordered list, starts there, ends there. It's got these 2 list items in it. So one that starts with before and one that starts with how to create. Now within those, each of those has an ordered list inside them with 3 list items. And so that's how we get that. And it looks like the second list item that starts with 4. And so then the other thing that we've got is we've got this thing where we have descriptive lists. And that's where you have something, well, we see it. This is a descriptive list. Client, and then what is it about? Web server, and then what is it about? And so they are separated or identified as DLs, and DL is the list, DT is the term, and DD is the description. So client is a term, computer is a description, and so we even give you the code for that. So all the code is given there. But you do have a challenge, which is, can you change the, or it's up here somewhere, can you change the style of the bullet so that it's a square? And I did give you a link on D2L on how to do that. But just if you want to see how I've done this to make all that code sort of hang together. So what we see here is all that code is put together in the body of a file. So there's the thing we talked about first. That's that unordered list with the two items in it. One of them's got two paragraphs. So and this one's got a hyperlink in it. So I put a hyperlink to a URL so it actually works. Then we've got another unordered list, and this one I've identified with a class so that we can style it. Okay, and also we've done some other styling here where I've made this bold and large so that we could do some other things. So using a special tag here called the span, and you should perhaps look up on that and see how does the span work. But basically with a span we put some styling inside the tag, and then whatever's in between the two spans is going to be styled in that way. So it's a way of just inserting some styling into the middle of a web page without having to go through doing all your styling up here in the head, which is this other styling that I've done there. So while we're there looking at that, I've made all of the body of the entire document Arial because I don't like times. I think it looks bad for me. All right, and that's just personal, right? It's my website, so I get to do it how I like, right? And you could choose a different one. With the DT, that's the bottommost list. I gave a margin for the terms so that the terms are separated so that they don't run in together. Now I've got these two classes A and B for our ordered lists, so that I could change the style of the bullet. And so here's one style of bullet, which is a square. That's for the A list that I've got the class of A. For the list which has a class of B, I've done a special one, and I've given you a link, I think, in D2L that you can go and find out about this. But you could check it just by going to W3 Schools HTML and searching on bullets, on modifying the bullets. So yeah, so basically, yeah, we got our first list is pretty simple. It's an unordered list. Our second list, actually, that's where we start getting into a nested list, and so I put a comment in there. How is it a nested list? Really, so a nested list is going to have a list within inside a list. Yes, we've got inside. So we've got an ordered list here, and an unordered list here. And inside the unordered list is an ordered list. So this ordered, and right, probably the best thing to do now would be to actually have a look at that, right? And I think I might have it open, or not. No. So let's have a look. So that would be, where did I put it? Should be in the HTML. Yeah, there's class practice 3. So this is how it looks after I sort of messed about with it. So I'm using, in the headings, I'm using H2 or H1. If you look here in our headings, it's the H1. That gives us that nice big heading like that. Now I've bolded this stuff here, and I've changed the bullet to a diamond. That was done by doing this this thing here. All of this together. The unordered list from class B. First, I turn off all of the bullets, and then I put at the start of every list item, I put the special code which gives me that diamond. So regarding those classes, so I've set a class A, and that's for this list here. It starts here and ends there, and so that's going to be styled by the ULA, and so that's how we got the square. And if you look at the list, that was your challenge, right, to get a square instead of a dot. So that's done. So that's kind of easy. This diamond was a bit trickier, and it actually still isn't exactly how I want it, but it's okay. The span, I used the span because I wanted this to be more bold, and I just wasn't getting it in another way that was working out easily. So I put a span on there. If you want to see how a span works, that's use a span twice there, I think, but that's kind of a nice example of how to use a span. So this how to create executable file, I've made it bold and large, and yeah, and the same with this other one up here. What else? So there we've got a list within a list. So that's our nested list, and that's all this stuff up here, our nested list. Then after that, oh, well, this is all still part of that nested list we're looking at. Then at the bottom after that, we get our DL, our list, which has definitions with it, right? So our terms and our definitions. So we've got a bunch of terms and a bunch of definitions. And what I did with the terms and definitions is I set the terms to make them look different than the definitions. So I did that here. So just the terms, I made them to be a bolder weight, and I gave them a space above them so that they're separated from the definition above them. So that set them out like that. I think that looks a little better. Okay, and so that was kind of fun. A little bit of CSS and a bunch of doing stuff with different lists. So we did 3 different types of lists there. 4, I guess, because we had the ordered list, we had an unordered list, we had a nested list, which included an ordered list and an unordered list, and then lastly we had our list of definitions and terms. Cool. And I'll just go through that all slowly so you can see. Got a pretty big styling area because I styled the body, styled that terms area, styled the different lists slightly differently. That was just to get those little bullets different. That's all that was about. And yeah, and then in our body, all of that stuff in the body, you have been given that in the sheet of paper. So that shouldn't be too tricky for you. So I hope that works out okay for you. Good luck with that. Cheers.